Hey guys, this is Paul from paulniger.com. I want to intro my blog topic for this week, and it's a touchy subject. It's something that we all have to go through at some point of our lives, and that's the loss of a loved one. And this happens, it's an inevitable part of life, and we all die at different phases of our lives, and that's the key to understand that we die at certain phases, and I'll get to that in a moment. But we find it harder to deal with a loved one when they die at a younger age. When we have someone who lives up to 80 to 90, and we always think, oh wow, they had a great life, it was their time to go. Although it is very saddening to see that person leave, we find it more devastating, bugs are flying in my mouth, devastating to deal with a death of someone that leaves very early in their life. There's a story about this young man who he had a hard life, and he was in and out of the prison system, and he had relationship problems with his family and with his partner, and he just he was going through a horrible cycle in his life. And then he came to a part in his life where he was able to transform himself. He was trying to make positive changes in his life, and he was trying to move in a direction that would facilitate his own growth in a positive way, and also to facilitate the union within his family. And this young man died. He died at 22 years old, and it's a devastating thing to have to go through. And a lot of people who are left behind after that wonder, well, this is saddening. What was the point of that? Like he was only here for 22 years, and he was gone, and he had all these great things, had great ambitions he was looking forward to, and he never got to pursue them. And we wonder, well, what was the purpose of his life, of his role here? Well, that's the key there, to understand that we all are playing a role within this life. So our life and who I am at this moment is Paul Niger, just for the moment, is just a role. At the end of that, I will be someone else. If you believe in the reincarnation or soul travel. So the lessons that was learned from the people who were left behind is that, well, they were able to understand tolerance, through his rough lifestyle that he was carrying, and still being patient with him as he was going through these different transitions in his life, and also being able to provide unconditional love. For the person who had passed, what did he learn? Well, he learned, the same thing. He was able to understand that people will love him regardlessly. Like, his family was there to support him to the end, and even his partner was there. She loved him regardless of what he was doing at the time when he was in a negative frame of mind. And so he was learning just how to understand what it's like to be loved, and have someone to live their life so selfishly. So in his next role in his life, he may be trying to explore that further. So no, rather than being a person on the receiving end of all this unconditional love, he will maybe dedicate his life to expand on that further, so now he can experience it. And just understanding that that's the role. So our bodies are meant to take us to a certain point in our life before we move on. It's no different than a pair of shoes. So if you wear a pair of shoes, it comes to a certain point where they've played their course in our time, where our toes are actually starting to stick on, the water's starting to leak through, and we want to replace them. But as soon as we replace them, we wear another pair of shoes. And that's wearing a pair of shoes to the end, and living through the whole product life cycle. But on the other times, we may buy a pair of shoes before our other pair is even worn out. We may collect shoes, and just create a new pair of shoes. And either way, whatever pair of shoes you're wearing, a new one for a short period of time or an old one for a long duration, is taking you somewhere. And whatever it is, you keep going. The shoes you leave behind, but you as a person will keep on going. And the body is no different from the soul. The soul will do that. So when we leave behind this body, we're still continuing on. And that's the thing I want to say about death, is that it's just an illusion. There is no death. There is no end. Things continue to go on into eternity. So whether or not he decides to come back into a life incarnation, into practice, whatever he wants to do, take a different role in his spiritual journey, that's up to him. Or maybe he wants to just hang out in whatever realms, whatever one you want to believe in. Either way, it's still hard with this explanation to deal with the loss of a loved one, because that's just our attachment. We're so used to seeing people and experience them through the five senses. But once we connect with the third eye and understand our psychic sense, we can see beyond the body, and we start to see, okay, actually this person's still here, they're still lingering around, they're still coming to visit us time to time. In the meantime, these people's lives, they stay within us within our memories and the emotions they had created from those memories. So yeah, just a quick intro to my blog. You can check out the full write-up at my website, paulniger.com. My last name is spelled Nijar. Thanks. See ya.